You want to look good in your underwear and be comfortable, right? But that perfect balance is hard to find. Don't sacrifice style or comfort. Check out MeUndies. August is National Underwear Month, and to celebrate, MeUndies is making it easier than ever to try the world's most comfortable underwear by giving you a risk-free guarantee. All National Underwear Month long. If you don't love your MeUndies, they're free. MeUndies are made from Lensing Micromodal, a sustainably sourced, naturally soft fabric that's proven to be 3 times softer than cotton. Micromodal is an all-natural, breathable, eco-friendly fabric extruded from Austrian beech trees that actually inhibits odor. No stinky undies, just soft, cool, and cozy MeUndies. MeUndies are the ultimate feel-good undies for when you want to feel naked, but not actually be naked. All National Underwear Month long, you can feel them for yourself, risk-free. It's simple. If you don't love your MeUndies, they're free. Now until August 31st, get 20% off your first pair, plus free shipping at MeUndies.com/blogtalk. That's MeUndies.com/blogtalk. MeUndies.com/blogtalk.
Blog Talk Radio.
Blog Talk.
From days of long ago, from uncharted regions of the universe, comes a legend. The legend of Voltron, defender of the universe. A mighty robot, loved by good, feared by evil. As Voltron's legend grew, peace settled across the galaxy. On planet Earth, a galaxy alliance was formed. Together with the good planets of the solar system, they maintained peace throughout the universe. Until a new, horrible menace threatened the galaxy. Voltron was needed once more. This is the story of the super force of space explorers. Specially trained and sent by the Alliance to bring back Voltron, defender of the universe.
Voltron, defenders of the universe.
All right. Thank you, Optimus Prime. I appreciate it.
Can I just go ahead and start this podcast off by saying fuck Netflix?
Well, okay. What? Explain.
Because, man, I set up this whole show, and I set up a TV party tonight for later in the week on the auspices that we were getting a full season of of Voltron Legendary Defender Volume 3, and I got some 7-episode bullshit, and a promise for the second half of the season in October. Fucking October. October, Jesse Starcher.
Ouch. Mid-season finales.
This is bullshit. Fuck Netflix.
More.
Yeah, because it doesn't take a long time to animate those things.
Well, okay. Now, have you decided you still doing the 7 episodes, right? When you guys talk about it here this coming week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Provided
absolutely.
I'm hospitalized. Provided I'm not hospitalized or have projectile leprosy or I'm in a coma. Yes, we will be doing a TV party tonight on Thursday.
All right. Well, more on that. Tune in later this week, folks, as Mark Radulich, I'm sure, will have more to say. I'd heard a little.
Again, fuck Netflix.
I had heard of that. I had heard that they kind of leave you with a little bit of a cliffhanger, don't they?
Kind of. It's
okay. All
they
right.
Basically, the 7th episode is basically like, here's how Voltron came to be, and it's like the whole history of the Drule Empire and the Alcinians and the invention of Voltron and how the whole fucking thing fell apart.
Okay. Now you've done a TV party on the first 2 seasons, right?
I have.
Okay, good, because I will rely upon you this evening to help me out with some questions that I have. Being as that.
Well,
in our chat, I made sure to preface last week that I know dick about Voltron. So
you can count on me, Jesse Starcher, because not only have I watched Voltron Legendary Defender, but I watched the original Voltron cartoon that was on in America when I was a kid. I know all about Voltron.
Very cool. This just wasn't a franchise I could get into for some reason. Whether it be something that I just didn't see on TV that much. I'm trying to even think who was carrying it back then.
Is that because you grew up in communist Russia and you weren't allowed to see cool things?
No, I don't think so. I think what it was that there were other things on at the time Voltron was on. That's the only thing I can think of.
There was nothing better than Voltron on.
Okay, all right. Now hold on. Voltron was. I need history here because I'm not going to argue against that statement because what time frame do you remember this show coming out?
Oh, for fuck's sake! I was a child. Now,
all right.
I'm
I mean,
31.
Are we talking like early '80s, 82, 83?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'll throw it in the Google machine and look it up, but it was definitely like. I mean, I watched Voltron early on in my youth, so say between 80 and 85.
Okay. All right. Well, we've already discussed Transformers and G.I. Joe at length on this show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Source Material, episode 128. That's right. I said to myself when I started this show, at episode 128, I just wasn't going to do intros anymore. How's that? And now I have reached that goal.
I don't remember you saying that.
I have reached that goal. First off, I am Jesse Starcher. Welcome to the show. Mark has an answer for us. Give us the answer.
All right. In the original run, Part 1 ran from September 10th of 1984 to November 27th of 84. Part 2 ran from October 21st of 85 to November 18th of 85, and there were 72 episodes.
Do they mention what networks in the United States was carrying Voltron?
Here's what I'll tell you. Voltron, Defender of the Universe, is an American animated television series that features a team of astronauts who pilot a giant super robot known as Voltron, the coolest fucking thing ever. Initially,
I don't think
that's in there.
As a joint venture between World Events Production and Toy Animation, the original television series, as I said before, the first season of Voltron featured the Lion Force Voltron, was adapted from the Japanese animated series Beast King Go Lion. The second season featured the vehicle team, and it was shitty, and we shouldn't talk about it.
Okay.
Why are the Japanese names for these things so stupid?
You mean awesome?
Beast King Go Lion versus Voltron?
Okay. Now, we're talking about a culture that has brought us like 9,000 different variations of Power Rangers. You got Power Rangers,
right?
This, and then you hear all about the Super Sentai stuff, which is something I just learned about because I got to know Robert Cooper a little bit.
Right.
But
no, now I don't want anybody to crucify me on that. I mean, like the content is cool.
You put it out there on the internet. I'm not responsible. You signed the waiver.
The content is cool, but I mean, Beast Force Lion Go or whatever. Just no.
All right. Well, I don't know. Again, in '84, I believe I was gravitating towards G.I. Joes. '85, I think or shortly after '85, the Turtles hit. So there might have been something in there where I just didn't have that space for Voltron, or maybe it wasn't in my area. Go ahead.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles suck. Nothing is better than Voltron.
All right,
wow.
Let's get this show started.
Calm down, Jesse.
There are rabbit holes I do not even want to be baited to go down, and that is one of them. I know what bait looks like, sir. I do. All right, so here we are. This evening,
let me ask you a question.
We are just.
Is it not fun? Is it not fun doing shows with me when I'm so opinionated?
Oh, absolutely. Sure. Absolutely.
Mark, what do you think? Mark Radulich, what do you think of the subject we're talking about? Everything you like sucks. Everything I like rules. My next question, please.
I don't see. No, I'm not falling for it. Not falling for it. All right.
I'm gonna shut up and stop taking your show hostage now.
Here we go. So this evening we are discussing, as if you could not tell, Voltron. And Mark chose this one. This was a Dynamite release from 2016, written by Cullen Bunn and oh boy, hold on just a second, I got it. Art by Blackie Shepherd. It's a very interesting name. But yeah, Voltron From the Ashes. So as I already prefaced this, I don't know much about Voltron at all, so I didn't know what we were getting into. However, I do know a little bit about Cullen Bunn because we have discussed him recently, and that was with Revolution, the Revolution series. I believe he was the writer of that. So we didn't know what we were going to get into. I mean, Revolution, we were some of us criticized it a little bit, and then there were some good points to Revolution as well. So Cullen Bunn taking over Voltron and giving us a story, I was eager to read just to see what we would get. And this evening, what we're going to do is a spoiler warning for anybody out there that's worried about learning what's in this book, although I think a lot of what you find in here when we get into it doesn't really have too much of an impact on who you are used to as the main characters of Voltron that a lot of people have watched, I assume, because this takes place 200 years after Voltron has, well, let's just say last time Voltron was used in battle. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But again, let me go ahead and introduce our guys here 10 minutes into the show. We got Mark Radulich, the incomparable, incomprehensible, sir, I'm glad you're on here tonight. The incoherent. Mark Radulich, are you ready? Are you ready to talk to your computer?
Am I ready to talk on my computer? Yes. Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
I actually don't have the shivers tonight. I'm not wrapped in a blanket. I'm doing okay.
Good. Ronnie Adams from the Screaming Boy podcast. How are you doing this evening? Are you ready to discuss some Voltron?
I am, because I am a Voltron fan.
Are you now?
Yeah, you didn't know that, did you?
I didn't know you were. I didn't know that you were a Voltron fan. I mean, I may have seen you share a couple things, but I mean, is this?
I'm not well versed like others, like maybe Mark. Definitely not as opinionated. But I'm kidding. But yeah, I really do like it. I mean, like, I remember watching it as a kid. So, and I
don't know how I missed this. I really don't.
Well, I used to watch it at my grandma's house, and when Power Rangers came on, she like I was flipping through there, and she goes, "Wait, put that back." And I said, "Oh, okay, what the heck?" She goes, "You used to watch it as a kid, like when you were little. When you were little." I was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "No, I didn't. This is pretty new." And she goes, No. You used to watch something like this when it was a cartoon." And I was like, "No, that was Voltron." I realized that years later. I was like, No. She was thinking Voltron because all she saw were multicolored people in
the big Megazord
and
or
giant
whatever.
Robot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
By the way,
that's a common mistake.
You think I'm opinionated about Voltron? Wait till we discuss Thundercats.
Oh boy.
Well.
Oh boy.
Well,
I look forward to that one then.
Wait till I have a reason to propose a Thundercats comic, and I start going on a rant about how nothing was better than Thundercats, kid.
Now that's a property I remember watching. I do remember that one.
Okay.
I don't know what I missed and how I missed Voltron. It just didn't. I don't know if it just wasn't on networks. Again, I grew up in rural Ohio, and sometimes we didn't have cable. So, well, let's go ahead. We're talking Voltron from the Ashes. Here's what we're going to do. I didn't assign these guys any parts tonight just because, hey, I just didn't do it. So what we'll do is we'll do 2-issue synopsis, issues 1 and 2, issues 3 and 4, 5 and 6, and then I'll open the floor to you guys for whatever you'd like to discuss, and then we'll take it from there. And then we'll give our final thoughts. I know, Mark, I don't think I have to ask you why you picked the book. I mean, unless there was there any other competition for From the Ashes that you remember seeing on Amazon or whatever?
No, like everything else, I picked a book that had a high rating and came up reasonably close to first in my search on Amazon for a book to read. I also tried to read something. Whenever I choose a story, it's either related directly to the stuff at hand. So, for example, I tried to, when there's when Logan came out, I picked Old Man Logan because it was loosely based on that story. Yeah. Next year we're going to do a New Mutants book, and that's which I believe is primarily the impetus for the movie that's coming out, if I remember correctly, from what I've been reading. Eventually we're going to have to do the Dark Phoenix story, and that's because of the Dark Phoenix movie. So, just things like that. Sometimes there isn't a good bridge. And in this particular case, there were no good comic options that I was aware of for Voltron Legendary Defender, so I just thought, why not something self-contained then? If I can't find something directly related to the material that is going to be part of another show, like a TV party or Damn You Hollywood, then I like to find something that is self-contained so I don't have to look up a lot of backstory. That was the one problem with Revolution I had. We spent a good 20 minutes discussing the backstory to get to Revolution, and I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Next time, something a little bit more self-contained so that I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to read All Hell Megatron and Maximum Dinobots and Up Your Mother's Butt and whatever else is out there. Just understand the fucking comic.
Variant cover for that is great, by the way. Up Your Mother's Butt. Variant
I'm
cover.
not familiar with that Transformers title.
Hey, Melissa, have you ever read that, Up Your Mother's Butt?
Oh.
Just staring at me.
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah. This is a good story. I think you hit it right on the mark when it comes to a self-contained story. Like I said, this takes place 200 years after Voltron's last battle. And the good thing is as we go through the story, we learn about what happened during that final battle. So I'll go ahead and we'll start with issue 1. You guys hop in or anything. If I miss anything or you feel like there's something I need to bring up, feel free to jump in. Issues 1 and 2, okay? So Voltron From the Ashes opens up with a witch by the name of Hagar, which I'm already going to turn it over to you, Mark. Is this a character that's been in the main continuity of Voltron that you're aware of? Okay.
He was one of the main villains of the original series. She was the one that would create the row beast that Voltron would have a dance-off with.
Okay. So
once again, not familiar with that storyline.
That's a robot chicken joke. She would create the row beast that Voltron would fight.
Okay. So Hagar lies frozen in deep sleep, afloat in space, haunted by nightmares of her dreaded row beasts falling to Voltron close to 200 years before. But luckily, she is then rescued and awakened by the evil inhabitants of a passing ship. Now, on a planet called Arris, which, again, I don't know if this is the main planet or whatever that Voltron is usually headquartered at or whatever, but Arris, A-R-U-S. It is? Okay.
It is.
That is the resting place for Voltron, as it has been over 200 years since Voltron has been needed. However, under the direction of the monks at the Monastic Order of the Lion, teams are in constant competition and in order to be ready to helm Voltron just in case. Now, the team that we're introduced to, I'm going to read the team members here. Our main guy that most of the story focuses around is a guy by the name of Jace, Jayce. And then we have Vega, a mohawked hothead, Ray, Nikki, and Kieran. Now, Jace, he's kind of got this attitude about him. All right, like I said, it's been 200 years since Voltron's even been needed. Why? And Jace just doesn't believe in this competition, these constant games. And because of this attitude, it's constantly causing the rest of his team grief, as his lack of motivation ends up costing them the winning spot more often than not. So instead of being this top elite team, they're kind of like the second best, because they just, what's the point? Jace feels. 200 years have been gone by. Voltron hasn't been needed for that long. So that's kind of our introduction to issue 1. Now, issue 2, we're shown more of the lack of motivation by Jace and the rest of his team. They're the black team, by the way. They wear the black suits. Each one of these teams we see, there's red, I think there's yellow, probably a blue in there. But Jace and the rest of his team are the black team. And then we're introduced to Aaron, who is the leader of the red team. This is the team that tends to usually get the better of the black team, because these guys are always focused. They're ready. They got a game plan. They're a good team. Now, Jace and his team take part in an exercise of what seems to be capture the flag, and of course they come in second place because they were focused on they were not focused on the objective as a team. We also get to see the final battle in this issue, or at least parts of the final battle that Voltron took part in 200 years earlier against Hagar's row beasts. Now, up in deep space, Hagar awakes and allies herself with Guarar. I will not be pronouncing it like that for the rest of the show. But Guarar and his army, and they get to create. She's like, oh, you know what? I'm awake. It's time to get back in action. She starts creating some new row beasts to exact her revenge. And at the end of the book, we find that she has created 3 new row beasts, and they are ready to prepare their attack on Eris. One, I'll just go ahead and do my best to describe what these row beasts look like, so our listeners out there can maybe picture it. Okay, our first row beast looks like Razor from TMNT 2, except he's huge, all right? This big wolf-like creature. And then there's the big spider from Lord of the Rings, who is quite literally as tall as a building. And then we have the eagle from Kung Fury before it was covered in gold. This big, vulture. I don't want to say vulture. It's more like an eagle of some way. But anyway, it's huge. It's massive. It's scary. All right. So there's our 3 row beasts who are planning to do some business on the planet of Eris, along with Grar's armies as well. And that's where issue 2 ends. All right, so I'll open the floor up here, Ronnie. I mean, what do you think? This is I assume a new team that you're not used to. Right. The focus of anyway. What do you think of these first 2 issues, and what do you got to say?
I was interested in it because I was really glad when they started introducing new teams to find out that it was placed in the future. Mm-hmm. And so it was interesting to I always thought, what would happen to them if, when they got too old or something like that happened. Who would take their place to operate Voltron, to pilot Voltron? So yeah, this was pretty cool. It intrigued me. It brought me in. The art I really liked right off the bat. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. It wasn't too messy or anything like that to keep up with. So,
mm-hmm. Mark, since you've watched the most recent episodes of Voltron and you've watched the previous ones, has it always been the same team?
Yes, it's always been Hung, Pidge, Lance, Keith, and Princess Allura.
Okay.
Yep.
So this is a brand new team. I mean, did it take you out, or were you invested when you first started reading?
No, I mean, I don't remember if by issue 2 they started doing the flashbacks to the original team, but whatever. When I picked this book and it was called From the Ashes, and I read the synopsis, I knew this wasn't going to be the original team. I didn't expect it to be. So I was prepared for whatever new team was going to pilot Voltron from the ashes, as it were.
That last battle that occurs, and I know we just kind of get an allusion to it here, a little bit shown at the end of issue 2. Has that ever been talked about ever in the continuity of the show, or is it always just, okay, we got a new big bad and we got to go face them?
I mean, I don't remember the show ending on. I mean, I would imagine. Yeah, I'm kind of looking at what the original episode looked like, and Zarkon becomes Zerobi, Lotor the king, and final victory. So I'm guessing. I'm guessing at the end of the 52 episodes of the first series of Voltron, they win.
Okay, well, makes sense. It makes sense. I didn't know if this was a new idea that's never been talked about before. I would assume it was, but you never know with the way some shows are written. I don't know about back then, but like in the Today series on Netflix, I didn't know if that's something that has ever been mentioned about how at some point you will fall to the great roe beast of Hagar on this day. Razor, Toka, and Shredder.
Oh, Lord.
I mean,
all right.
I got to be honest with you. This new iteration of Voltron, they're not spending too much time fighting roe beasts. That
really?
was very much a season.
Yeah.
That was a season 1 thing, and they kind of just abandoned it with season 2. Because in the original Voltron series, that was the thing. There was always a new Hagar was a one-trick pony who was always throwing roe beasts at Voltron, and that was kind of what they did. We must form Voltron, and I'll form the head. And it was Voltron versus whatever giant monster she threw at them. This new Legendary Defender is more of this ongoing story of Voltron versus the entire Drule Empire. And
oh wow,
and whatever. Yeah, it's a much different show than would be, in a lot of ways, a lot better than the original Voltron. Netflix did a really good job with it until they decided to split season 3 in half like a bunch of fuckers.
He's still upset, ladies and gentlemen.
A little bit.
I have a question about I don't want to say the physics, but how does, when Voltron forms, okay, is it always like the red one is always going to be the foot, or do they all choose what position they're going to be in on the spot?
No, let me learn you, okay? Let me set you straight.
Please.
The black lion is always the torso and the head. The red and green lions are always the arms and hands. And the blue and yellow lion are always the legs and feet.
Okay. All right. So
they don't like switch positions. Like, I'll be tonight. I'm the torso. No.
That's what I was waiting for. I was wondering if like somebody could be like, I'm the head this time. No, I'm the head today. No,
I'll form the head. You'll form nothing. No, it doesn't go that way.
Well,
I oughta.
As a kid, I'm used to Transformers. It's what I grew up with. So, when I see how many are there? There's 5, right? 5, 6, 5 or 6. Anyway,
5.
I'm talking 5 lions. Okay, so I figured they're all the same. I mean, they look like lions, and then you just shove them into each other, and then bang, there you go. There's Voltron.
No, sir. That is not how Voltron
Shove
works.
them into each other.
It's not shoving random bits of robot into one another.
Universal joints and everything.
No. The red lion was the lava lion. The green lion was the forest lion. The black lion was the space lion. The blue lion was was the ocean lion, and the yellow lion was the desert lion. And they would all run from their different elemental areas when they were called upon by their pilot.
Okay. Do they each have a different power?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I'm looking for the ways that make each part unique, because I never understood that. I was like, okay, well, that one's a different color. Congratulations, you're yellow. All right, and then you're blue. I didn't know that. I didn't know that there was actual different colors or different different powers, I should say. Congratulations. But yeah, so okay. The education continues here, so I'm sure we'll get into more. So let's go ahead. We'll get into issues 3 and 4, unless either of you have anything you'd like to say about issues 1 and 2. All right.
I'm good.
Silence is consent. Here we go. Issues 3 and 4.
That's what she said.
No. No, Mark.
Blink once for yes, blink twice for no. Wow, she blinked a lot of yeses.
Her eyes are not opening. More of the final battle of Voltron from 200 years ago. That's what we get there in issue 3. Sorry, got a message. Voltron suffered some critical failure back then, and it's shutting down. So this is, we're flashing back to that last battle, and it was fighting like I don't know how many row beasts, but it didn't get overcome and destroyed. It started after during the battle, or immediately after the battle, it had expended itself so much that it's got to shut down. Now Keith, I have him down here. He must have been was he the black lion or was he the red lion?
He was the black lion.
Keith was the black lion. Okay. So yep. Keith's calls for any of his other teammates, he's like, hey, Pidge, hey, Midge, hey, Barney. Nobody's answering. Okay? His calls go
on. It's Keith, Lance, Pidge,
Princess Buttercup,
and Princess Allura.
Okay. I get a little confused. So he's yelling for these guys. He's trying to get their attention. It goes on. His calls go unanswered. So we're kind of worried. What happened? What happened back 200 years ago? Did our team meet a dire fate? I don't know. So we flash back to the future. The invasion of Eris has begun. Hagar's row beasts and Guarar's army attack. Aaron.
What's his name?
Guarar, sir. Guarar. Aaron and the rest of his red team are chosen.
Wait, hang on. Let me pronounce it for you. It's Hagar and her accomplice.
He is
exactly. Many pronunciations for this man's name. All right. Now, Aaron and the rest of his red team are chosen. They are the chosen ones right now. They are ready to take control of Voltron. So since the invasion has begun, these guys have got to go wake up Voltron and get things going in order to defend the planet. Jace, after this is found out that the red team is going to be, the ones that are taking control of Voltron, he finally realizes that his attitude may have cost him and the rest of his team the chance to be heroes. Now, after this, the team comes together. They increase their camaraderie after sitting around a table and discussing what was going on. And they realize that what they've been doing for the past few years, as futile as it may have seemed, I mean, over and over, they just talked about, well, what is the point of these stupid games? We're never going to need them. But they realize that even though for the past few years, these things that they were doing, as futile as it may have seemed, it was a better escape from their mundane lives had they not taken the steps to be where they are now. And at the end of issue 3, a bloodied, barely alive Aaron stumbles back towards the monastery where Ray and Jace find him. Aaron tells them that he and the rest of his team were ambushed before they could reach Voltron. He then bestows the Voltron keys to Jace and his team. So that's the end of issue 3. Now, issue 4, we flash back again 200 years prior. Keith exits Voltron to try and find a way to find his other teammates inside the other vehicles. I think he learns at that point that every one of them, he finds Pidge, I believe, and Pidge is barely holding on to life and dies, I think, in front of him. And he finds out that the rest of them, I believe, have perished as well. So the only person alive from the original team is Keith. Out back to the future, the Robeasts and the army continue to wreak hell upon Eris, while Hagar is relishing the chance to see Voltron again in order to see the great protector beaten. Jace and the rest of his team awaken Voltron and proceed to destroy some incoming enemy ships with relative ease. I mean, these guys take over and there's just like, okay, within one page, this invading army, or at least this invading wave, was eliminated. Now, their next objective is to form Voltron and face the deadly Robeasts. And that's where we leave issue 4. So, Mark, I mean, were you touched? I mean, Keith finds out that the rest of the team is dead.
Yeah, it's sad. You know, these were the pilots that I grew up with on the original ones. And even though they've been sort of remade and recasted in Voltron Legendary Defender, you know, seeing the old team and how they're drawn here was definitely a reminder of the old cartoon. And it made me a little sad, you know, to see that they all, you know, that they never made it. They never had their total victory. You know, they died in the fight.
Yeah.
So I know it was a little heartbreaking.
Okay, Ronnie, how about you, man? You have an emotional attachment to what happened?
Yeah, the same thing. I mean, you grow up watching, or I grew up watching, you know, all these guys, and Pidge especially, because he was kind of the kid brother of the group. To find him and see him die in somebody's arms was kind of rough.
Yeah. Did it feel rushed to you that Jace and the rest of the team are able to hop into the Lions and
I only
just
had
immediately
6 issues to deal with?
I know, but I mean, we're talking within a matter of pages. How many times did they state over and over earlier that Voltron may not even wake up? I mean, he's been sitting in this one spot for ages, and they just get the keys, and the next thing you know, the Lions are like, boom, out we go. There was like no tension.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. Voltron is the defender of the universe.
Okay.
So just because it's been sitting idle in a pile of rocks for 200 years doesn't mean it won't start when the pilots, when the new pilots that belong to those Lions, start the engine. I know that the defender of the universe will do what it needs to do. I wasn't worried.
How is Voltron fueled? Is there a fuel issue here, or is it just, willpower or something weird like that? Or
it's nuclear powered.
Okay, all right. And was it human created, or was it something that just came from the stars and they're like, okay, well, we need to pilot this?
It was created to fight the Drule Empire.
Okay. By humans, or do we know who the creator was?
I believe it was created by Princess Allura's people.
Okay. All right. I see. I continue to learn. Ronnie, you got anything to say about issues 3 and 4 here? The death. We've already talked about the death of... Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, it's just exciting to see Voltron back in action. You're ready for some some Robeast fighting and
Smackdown.
It was I don't know. That's what I started reading the comic book for. I wanted to see him. I wanted to see him back in action.
Okay. So
that was cool.
All right, cool deal.
I mean, you don't want to see him. You don't want to see him fail and die like that has been going on.
That was my only criticism about those 2 issues, as if you couldn't tell. It just seemed like they they went on and on about how, oh my gosh, who knows if this guy will move. And then within a page, it's, all right, boom, there go the lions flying out there and destroying things. And I was like, what happened to all the buildup of like, guess we just don't have to worry about it. Mark seemed perfectly fine with that. He's defender of the universe, just because he's taken a nap for 200 years, no big deal. No big deal. And I just felt like they brought that up so much that I didn't, I wasn't a fan. But that's all right. That's the only criticism I've had of it so far.
I get that. You expect a little bit of a turn the key and the engine doesn't start.
Exactly. Like,
Oh,
Voltron starts doing the old man flop. Voltron does the old man flop.
It's the defender of the universe. It's not a Chevy Nova. It's fine.
All right. I'm leaving it alone. It's a good enough explanation for me. All right, so let's go ahead.
Not enough fuel in the tank,
Yeah. Let's go ahead, and we will go to issues 5 and 6. Issues. Hey, the Lions
broke, Jesse. I don't know.
Well, and it was crazy for me to see, like, they get in there, and immediately they're just like, boom, 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 boom. Oh, well, that's one part of the invading army has been destroyed.
Have you no whimsy? Have you no zest for magic in your world? Why can't Voltron just start up? Because it's the defender of the universe.
He starts up, brand new teams helming the Lions. Mind you, the Lions haven't been active for 200 years, but we're just going to set that on the shelf. Then we have brand new team hopping into these Lions. Okay, well, maybe it's their training.
Yes.
Okay,
and they've dedicated their life to training for it. That's like saying, I've dedicated my entire training to fly this jet. Oh, and then I just jump in the jet and immediately know what I'm doing? Yes, because you've been trained for it.
All right, good enough. I'm moving on. We're going to issue 5 and issue 6 here. We're closing it out here. We're closing out our story for From the Ashes. All right. The team acclimate themselves to the workings of Voltron, which here I have another question because I got this Pacific Rim vibe. Like there was something to mention about their emotional connections were.
That is correct. You are psionically connected to the lion. You, the pilot, are psionically connected to the lion. You become one.
All right, and then you also can feel what other people are feeling, the other pilots as well, right?
Right.
Like
because in order to form Voltron, you must be a true team.
Okay. So they're forming Voltron, and we get our battle between Voltron and the Roe Beasts, which, I'm not going to go blow by blow here, but it's pinned pretty good in my opinion. The art's great, and you don't have hardly, there's a little bit of dialogue, but they do a good job of letting the action speak for themselves, which is great. The toll that the battle is taking is not only on Voltron itself, but also in the environment in the city that's around them. That doesn't go unnoticed by the Voltron team here, Team Voltron. Now, by the end of issue 5, Voltron is able to fully charge and bring out, this must be something big, guys, because it seemed like all caps to me, Blazing Sword. That's right. Blazing Sword makes his appearance. That's Mark, sorry. Makes his appearance. Blazing Sword makes his appearance. That'd be funny if, like, Blazing Sword showed up and it was nothing but opinions, and that's how he killed people. But
Blazing Sword stood up. You know what? I just don't like black people.
Oh, Lord.
Comes out. This humidity's horrible.
I think more opinions coming from the Blazing opinion.
Now wait a second.
You know
Isn't there a network called The Blaze? I think we're on to something here.
No, we're not. Nope.
Okay.
Now I'm turning to Ronnie. Don't do it. Let's move this on.
No, sir. If you can do all the crap you've done to me, he can talk about The Blaze.
No, he can't.
Voltron brings out the blaze. And there's a holographic
Voltron
projection.
On the Robeast throws a punch, and Voltron says, "You know what? I just don't believe in abortion."
Opinions. We've got plenty of them.
Robeast is stunned with opinions.
All right. So Blazing Sword comes.
Voltron says, "Healthcare is a commodity, not a right."
Oh my goodness. Blazing Sword has come out, and boy, do they make quick work of the Robeast here. All while Hagar in her ship looks on in shock. And the day is saved by Team Voltron, or so it seems. At the end of issue 5, Hagar still seems to have one trick up her witchy sleeve. So now we get into our final issue, issue 6. Everything seems to be fine. The Robeasts were stopped. City needs repair, but luckily the people know that their hero has been awoken and has returned. Team Voltron at the beginning of issue 6 is enjoying the peace after the victory. I assume it's probably about months after the last battle that occurred with the Robeasts. And from out of nowhere, the monastery is attacked by this gigantic Robeast. All right, so trouble's starting again. Now this one's extra special and extra deadly. You see, this is I think this may be the last time I have to say his name here. Hagar created this Robeast out of Gwar himself. All right? I don't know. Can somebody, Mark, Ronnie, it looks like Hagar is able to create these things by using some type of magic. And initially when she created the first 3, she said, I have to have raw materials in order to do this. And they flew to this planet, and they were like this. There was a couple alien life forms. So what I was assuming, I thought like maybe they raised the planet, took a bunch of alien life forms, she threw some kind of magic on them, and then they all became this huge Robeast. And that's what we got initially. But apparently she can just create these things out of one person. Does anybody have any insight as to how Hagar's magic works? Or, are there any limitations? Yes. Okay, please.
Her and her two sisters have a cauldron, and they say, toil, toil, bubble and...
And now see, there's some bullshit going on right here. You're trying... This is a problem. I don't know enough about the property to call you a liar.
Do you know anything about Macbeth? Because that's the bit that
Shakespeare?
I'm doing.
Is the answer no? You have no idea?
No, I don't know how her magic works.
That would have... Okay, there we go. Well, so anyway, she creates this huge Robeast out of...
It clearly involves Eye of Newt. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Don't recall seeing that in here, but I will take your word for it, Mark Radulich.
Please don't.
Maybe Gwar himself is now this huge Robeast. He's got like this chain whip. I mean, he's definitely invoking Ghost Rider here, and he's taking it out on Eris. It's bad news. Team Voltron is able to gather themselves and make it to Voltron while the chaos ensues, and they proceed to form Voltron and fight the beast. Things go a little off track when Voltron uses their spinning laser blade, and the Robeast Gwar is able to unbelievably stop it in mid-spin. He just reaches out there and stops this thing, and they're like, whoa, you can't do this, can he? Now, sensing this is serious business, Voltron forms Blazing Sword yet again, and by the next page, our four-armed Gwar Robeast is now cut in half. As Hagar again looks on in shock, Voltron then ascends to space, right up into space, right to the stars, faces the mothership. Then I don't know if this is the one that Hagar's sitting on or not, but Voltron takes Blazing Sword and boom, right into the mothership. I don't know if it destroys it, disables it, or whatever. What made me wonder about it is the way that the panels were structured. Like, Voltron, like, stabs the ship with the sword, and Hagar in, like, the next panel is looking at it. So I don't know if she's watching this happen or if she's on board when this happens, but it doesn't look like she dies. She may have. I assume if she's on the ship, he destroys the ship. I don't know. But either way, Hagar sees this happen. Blazing sword, boom, there it is. Mothership disabled. No more trouble out of you. And at the beginning and the end of this issue, we're shown a figure in white and black looking for a spot in the mountain. Now, this is kind of, I mean, Voltron saved the day. Now we're kind of like fast-forwarding somewhere. I say fast-forwarding. I don't know where we're at. We're just kind of like, at the beginning, they're showing this figure of white and black looking for this spot in the mountain. And it's clear that they're both old. So at first when I was reading this, I thought it was Keith. They kind of talk about what happened with Keith throughout the years, during the 200 years in between the last battle and now. But it kind of felt weird. They were going back, and I thought, well, what are they showing us? Keith is going up looking for this, like, final resting place or something. But at the end, we're actually shown that it is a very aged Jace and Vega. And we gather through their discussion that since they had that battle with Hagar, galactic peace has been reached, and Voltron has not been needed for quite some time. And maybe, just maybe, there's hope it will never be needed again. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Issues 5 and 6, we closed it out. Roar dies. Hagar either dies or does not die. I don't know. And Blazing Sword makes its appearance twice in these two issues. Mark Radlitz, what do you think, man?
I really enjoyed this. You know, of all the stuff we've read recently, this was the lightest. And the subject material was not that heavy. It was a pretty straightforward narrative. You had the story kind of going back and forth between Voltron's last stand and the rise of Voltron again, and the connective tissue being Hagar, sending the Grobies one after another after him. I really, really enjoyed this comic. I enjoyed the art. I thought that was pretty straightforward. I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the new characters. It's too bad it ended with issue 6 because I'd be curious to see what happens next with this iteration of Voltron.
Yeah, with that little bit of cap at the beginning and cap at the end of issue 6, it really kind of drove it home that this was intended to be a standalone. We have 200 issues. Go ahead.
Sorry, that was one thing I wanted to mention. I love the idea that after, that Keith was the sole survivor, and Keith started basically a religion based on Voltron just from the stories he was telling.
Oh.
I thought that was great.
Yeah.
I thought the whole monastic idea, the whole monastery of Voltron and religion came from his stories and, and his enthusiasm for what Voltron was and his love of his brothers that were Voltron pilots. I thought that was great. That was my favorite part of the story.
Yeah, I left that little bit out. It's like what they talk about that. It's like only like 2 or 3 pages where they show you like, okay, a year after the battle, and it's like one panel. 5 years after the battle, and then they actually take you up to where Keith dies, and then it shows the religion being born and the monks and all that. Which, yeah, that was pretty cool. Is it always a big deal when Blazing Sword makes an appearance? Because that's just kind of the thing I got. Okay.
Blazing Sword cuts the fuck out of things.
Clearly.
Wow, okay. I was just going to say it's kind of like his finishing move, but...
Well, you didn't have enough flair there, Ronnie Adams.
I guess not.
Is that what we're calling my dirty mouth? Flair?
Flair. Well, yeah, might as well. All right, well, let's go ahead. Ronnie, did you have anything you'd like to say about the way the story ended? Were you pleased? Were you happy?
Yeah, it was like Mark said, it was the lightest thing that we've read in a long time. Not in a long time, but in a while here, and it was just fun to revisit those characters and to see how the legacy was upheld. because if I'm not mistaken, they were kind of a ragtag group to begin with anyway when, forming Voltron. Kind of the, not losers, but just, you wouldn't expect them to be the defenders of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Pidge and Hunk, and Hunk was kind of a moron anyway. So in the original version, he's a little smarter the second time around. But not the second, whatever, the newest Netflix one. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was cool to read. It was an easy read. I read all 6 issues today. So no, it held true to what I remember Voltron being, and that was just a lot of fun and a lot of I don't know, the art style that they did the old, the original team.
The flashback,
it was a completely different art style, wasn't it? Almost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could tell they were trying to at least show some type of influence, or mimic it. Yeah,
right.
You could see that.
So
and
I thought that, like I said, it stayed true to the original series, and I haven't read any Voltron comic books or anything other than this, but I'm interested to go back and to read some more.
Okay. Well, as for my final thoughts on it, let me tell you, we've talked a lot of properties on this show this year where I have no idea what may have come before. Wacky Racers, that right there, yeah, I can remember a few episodes. I was really excited, but when we got into that, I was like, who's this character? Who is this character? I had to do some research. And then, with Tarzan and Planet of the Apes, yeah, those are 2 properties that I'm kind of familiar with, but, not mega familiar with. So it's kind of hard to be dropped into an extensive property, know who the characters are, and know the type of story that you're going to get. With Voltron, I was worried I was going to be running into the same thing, but because they were, I think it's important that they set this 200 years into the future, because you don't have all of that history to worry about. There's
right.
nothing there, there's nothing there that says, yeah, you got to know who Hunk is, you got to know who Keith is. There's none of that. There may have been a few moments that occurred that I may not have picked up on the weight of, but they did a good job of making me understand that blazing swords, that's pretty, when that happens, it's badass. And right. when there's a spinning laser beam shot at you, apparently that's a weapon that was usually pretty respected. But again, they told the story well enough for me to be invested, and I was rooting for this team. Had a good fun time reading the story, and they did a good job, in my opinion. Blackie and Cullen Bunn did a great job of telling a good Voltron story that anybody, I think, could pick up and read. So, Mark, do you have anything else you'd like to say before we close up shop?
No, I don't know now what I want to do with Voltron Season 4, I guess is what they're calling it, or the second half of Season 3, which is coming out in October. Do we do another Voltron book? Do we just say to hell with it, and we've done a Voltron book for this year and not do another one? I don't know what to do.
Well, if there's something out there that we can get our hands on, I'm down for whatever. I'd be glad to cover something else. Now that I know a little bit more about the history with you guys, I have no problem.
I wouldn't be opposed to doing another Voltron book.
Yeah, right, I'll look on Amazon, see what's available out there. I know there's a whole series of Voltron comics out there. I'm sure there's another graphic novel or another trade paperback of a limited series. So I'll do some research and I'll talk to you guys about it over the next couple of days.
Sounds good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's our coverage of Voltron From the Ashes. I hope you all enjoyed yourself. We're going to get into plugs now, and we're going to send this puppy home. We'll start with Ronnie Adams of the Screaming Boy Podcast.
Just like you said, we have a show called Screaming Boy Podcast. more of a nerd culture, pop culture kind of podcast. It's a lot of fun. We've had some really great discussions lately. Like we just did the military, some sort of military type show or something or another, and that was the actual title. And we talked about how the military has influenced our lives, I guess you could say. And then, a lot of G.I. Joe talk. And then we actually got into a whole discussion of how Mayberry in the USA, Indy Griffith, Mayberry, is actually a giant military sleeper town where everybody that lives there is a secret agent. And Andy is the one that's charged to watch them all. And, Barney Fife only had one bullet because that's all he needed. And Aunt Bee was the money penny of the lot. She was actually a member of MI6. I don't think I've laughed that hard on our show in a long time.
That was a good time.
Thinking about Floyd the Barber cutting somebody's throat.
Oh, yeah, dude. I'm good with the blade.
I'm good with the blade. Coming up, we're going to do our Voltron versus Power Rangers episode, mainly because it was really interesting because we're doing a Voltron tonight or this week, and so I wore a shirt. I wore a shirt to church the other day, and it was a shirt I got out of Loot Crate. It was just a T-shirt, and it was a Power Rangers T-shirt with a Megazord on it. And, just how it went together and everything.
Can I help you with your show? Can I help you with your show really quick?
Sure.
It's very easy. Voltron rules. Power Rangers suck.
There's a show.
This is coming from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles suck. All right, I ain't listening to a damn word Mark Radulich has to say now after that was uttered. So.
I never did.
Just agree and move on.
Thinks, oh my gosh, Ronnie's a jerk. He really hates Mark. No. But everybody was going,
Power Rangers.
It's Voltron. It's this. And I'm like, no, it's Power Rangers. What's wrong with you all? And so,
because everybody knows Voltron rules.
Or was it the other way around? No, it's definitely Power Rangers. So,
Power Rangers. I'm sorry. Power Rangers is the worst.
Anyway, so we'll be discussing Power Rangers versus Voltron because there are a lot of similarities in the two properties.
Yeah,
very good.
And you can't tell me there's not Radulich.
It'll be fun. It'll be a fun discussion. Mark Radulich will not be a part of it. Let's make sure of that. And then I'm just kidding. Now, it's going to be an interesting conversation because hold on. It's going to be a fun talk because I know nothing about either one. So, I might be one of those ones. I know a little bit about each one. I mean, I know other than that, that's what the normal person, not the big fanboy, but the normal person knows. So
you want to know what Power Rangers is like? Power Rangers is like go into your kitchen, grab the sugar, dump a whole bunch of it down your throat, then hit yourself in the head with a fucking bat. Then you'll understand Power Rangers.
All right.
I don't think that's how that works.
Ronnie, give us your social media stuff.
Go on Facebook and look up.
Social media is still a thing, Ronnie Adams. Believe it or not.
I know, but I'm just sitting here thinking about hitting myself in the head with a bat after ingesting a lot of sugar. Go to Facebook, look up Screaming Boy Podcast. We actually just posted. I saw the new pictures of Josh Brolin as Cable today, and I couldn't help it. I absolutely loved it, so I posted on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I made a collage out of an app of his, close-up of his face and a close-up of the drawn Cable's face, and then They both have a pose where the gun's on the shoulder and everything. So let us know what you think about that. So Facebook is Screaming Boy Podcast. Twitter is @ScreamingBoyPR. And then if you go on Instagram, it's Screaming Boy Podcast. Please reach out to us and let us know what you think. Give us a like on Facebook. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, and, of course, right here on the Radio Nation Broadcasting Network. We will be recording again soon. I know I've said that, but soon is relative, so shut up. But just some computer issues. But thank you, Mark, for letting us do live shows here on Friday nights.
All right.
Yep.
Just
make sure you name Friday's show Voltron Rules Power Rangers Drule.
We're going back grade school, ladies and gentlemen. Well, Mark, I'm turning it over to you, but with one little caveat, okay? Let's just I hope that the show that we just did tonight does not put you back in the hospital again. I know Coldest City must have been pretty tough on your body there, but Voltron, you seem to be a little bit more. You seem to be a little bit more enthused. It's a good story, so let's just say you stay out of the hospital. Please hit us with the plugs, man.
I'm not going back in the fucking hospital. They're gonna have to drag me there. Hopefully I'll have some news this Wednesday, the 9th. I have a whole bunch of appointments at the cancer hospital here in Florida that I go to. I'm getting a PET scan and some other stuff going on. So whatever happens, shortly after that, either Jesse's going to interview me while I'm drunk and sad.
Oh, boy. That's going to be a fucking tall order. Don't be doing that shit to me.
Or Jesse's going to be doing an interview with a very happy Mark who no longer has to do chemotherapy. So we'll see what happens after the 9th. In the meantime, tomorrow night, Robert Winfrey suggested we review The Dark Tower. Spoiler alert, it sucks, but we'll talk about it tomorrow night. I promise to actually show up for this show and not have neutropenic fevers. This Wednesday is Ronnie Adams' favorite band, Goat Whore. We'll be doing Vengeful Ascension, the new album.
What's the name? Wait. What's the name of the band?
Goat Whore, sir. Goat Whore.
Thank you. Ronnie didn't hear you the first time.
I don't want anyone thinking that this is actually a band that I enjoy.
Too bad. Too late.
The band that Ronnie's been listening to since he was a wee youth, Goat Whore. He used to listen to it outside. He used to listen to it every day after church. After the preacher would give his sermon, Ronnie Adams would put on his Sony Walkman.
Lord
and he would listen to Goat Whore. It's his favorite band.
Secretly, of course.
What are you listening to, Ronnie?
Johnny Cash. No, that's
whatever the Lord
says. Merciful heaven.
So anyway, we're going to listen to Ronnie Adams' favorite group, Goat Whore, and their new album, Vengeful Ascension. You're right. Your favorite group is Metal Decapitation.
There you go.
What's wrong with you?
Their hit single, Bukkake Tsunami. I forgot. Anyway, so that's Wednesday night at 9 o'clock. And then we'll be back for a TV party tonight for Voltron Season 3, all 7 episodes. Can you dig it, sucker? In 2 weeks, right here on the Source Material Podcast, we will have a polished-up, pre-recorded, canned episode of Daredevil, Guardian Devil, as that kicks off our week of looking at, or rather 2 shows, I should say, of looking at the Defenders. We'll be doing a TV party for Defenders on Tuesday the 22nd. So to kind of pair up with that, we looked at the Kevin Smith penned Guardian Devil Daredevil trade paperback. And 2 weeks after that, to celebrate the debut of the Inhumans television show, which is already getting shit reviews, so that's good. We'll be looking at the Inhumans run by Paul Jenkins, I believe it is. Yeah, by Paul Jenkins and Jai Lee. So that'll be fun.
Inhumans already getting bad reviews?
Yeah, I'm from what I'm reading on different sites, the new Inhumans is already getting bad reviews.
Oh boy, Josh Calandris is not going to like that. That's going to be unfortunate.
Right. Are these actual legit bad reviews, or are these Iron Fist bad reviews?
I don't know. I haven't read them. I just know that October 2nd, Ronnie Adams picked the show. He can't wait for it. It's the DC meets Hanna-Barbera show. Space Ghost and Green Lantern.
I just threw up a little.
Banana Split and the Suicide Squad.
Oh boy.
Ronnie Adams can't wait.
Why do you do this to me?
I hear there are some things to look forward to in that bit of in that series. So cross your fingers and hope it ain't
the end of the book.
Yeah, maybe. All right, anything else there, Mr. Radulich, sir?
No. I think I'm good for now.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'll keep it nice and short here. Go check out the Radulich and Broadcasting Network Facebook page to stay up on top of all the great podcasts that we have to offer. Also, I'd like to plug the represent.com, Fight Radulich Fight. If you check out that website, you can find yourself a shirt that says Fight Radulich Fight, and you can also donate to help the patriarch himself. I just got mine a couple days ago, as a matter of fact, and it's supposed to be here probably within the next week. So I will be taking a selfie, throwing the horns, wearing the Fight Radulich Fight shirt, and I suggest everybody out there do the same. So, and also
real quick, did you make it to Primus and Clutch?
I did not, sir. I did not make it. We were having car trouble, and this is legit. We were having car trouble that day, and I just did not want to chance it. And I ended up selling my tickets. Get this. I sold my tickets for, I had them listed for $41, okay? And wouldn't sell. And then as soon as I lowered them to $39, for some strange reason, within 10 minutes, they were gone. So I don't know what the difference of $2 makes, but I made my money back pretty quickly. So I'm all right with that. Unfortunately, I didn't get to go, but that's okay because I was afraid of getting stuck in Pittsburgh, of all places. I mean, a Cleveland Browns fan, there's no other worse places to be stuck in, and then have to call the wrecker or whatever. But unfortunately, I missed it. That's okay, though, because by golly, I know there's going to be another Clutch concert coming around sometime soon, and Mark Radulich, you're going to be feeling better, and you ain't going to be broke as a joke, and you're going to be able to make it up. Or we're going to meet somewhere in the middle. We're going to meet in the middle.
I already got tickets to the Primus show here in Orlando.
Yeah, let us know I want to know how that goes. Aren't we covering a Primus album at some point? You put it on the schedule, didn't you?
Yes, the Saturated 7.
All right,
it's already
very
on the
cool.
calendar. It's one of Ronnie's favorite bands next to Goat Whore.
Next to Goat Whore. But yes, go check out that Radulich and Broadcasting Network Facebook page. Check out goatwhore.com to see Ronnie's reviews. Go ahead.
I know. I was just listening to Kenny Rogers. I mean, my God.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Can you get any different than that?
And
we hear you. We hear that you like John Cougar concentration camp. It's fine.
Sweet God, there's an actual band named. Oh my
yes. Hey, send them the Spotify link, Mark Radulich. I know it's on there. Isn't
Absolutely not.
Oh yeah, do it. Do it to it. Don't send it in a private message. Just go ahead, put it on Facebook, tag Ronnie Adams, and be like, "This is what you were looking for, sir."
This is why
I love it.
I have on my Facebook
it.
page. I have to approve.
Yes,
what it goes on there.
Oh, that's a smart move. That's a smart move because now we know what to do. All right. real quick, be on the lookout. We did a movie commentary, a quick movie commentary this past...
Yeah, nice invite, guys.
Hey,
nice invite, assholes.
Now, listen. My thoughts first were of you, sir, and the fact that you spent one day in the hospital, immediately come back and did a podcast with us. No, wait a second. We let you rest, but you had to have some family time, and I guarantee you probably would not have liked to have reviewed Kung Fury. That's just my guess.
That's all right, because I got something for you guys.
Okay.
Right? I want to do easy goat whore. I want to do an audio commentary for the movie Rocky IV.
Ooh. Oh boy, that sounds good. We'll have to definitely get on the schedule for that. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, watch for a commentary to drop here pretty soon. It's going to be less Mark Radulich and more Dueling Ogres, Remington Hitchcock. That's right. I messaged the man. I said, you got to come on. He's like, sure, I'll do it. So it's me, Ronnie, and Remington who sat down and just had a good old time talking about Kung Fury. It's probably going to be up sometime this weekend. So other than that, I think it's time for us to get the hell on out of here. I hear Madden calling my name, Madden 25. I'm going to go play some football, and I'm going to find the outro music for Mark Radulich, the patriarch of the Radulich and Broadcasting Network, for Ronnie Adams, He-Man Ronnie Adams from the Screaming Boy Podcast. I'm Jesse Starcher, wishing all of you a great night. Have a good one.
Hi, this is Maury Moreland Morrison, here to tell you Geico has more than just great savings. Much more. Yes, while Geico could help you rack up more moolah faster than you can say metamorphosis, they've also been the fastest growing auto insurer for more than 10 years. That's more like it. Furthermore, Geico has fast and friendly claim service. That might seem like an oxymoron, but it's not. All the more reason to say no other auto insurer has more than Geico. Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.